for joining us. Today is December 3rd, 2025, Wednesday at 5:32. And this is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Marquette Township Board that we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Secretary.
Okay, Trustee Kidda is absent and excused this evening. Trustee Leighton.
Here.
Trustee Everson.
Here.
Trustee Winslow.
Present.
Treasurer Rickower.
Here.
Clerk Rattari is here, and Supervisor Durant.
Here.
Staff present is Manager Kangas and our Attorney Roger Zappa. And our Finance Director Kim Clark is here, and there's no committee members I see in the audience.
Okay, thank you. Anybody wish to address the board before we get started? Any public comment? Did you see this email, John? Should I read this?
If you'd like, sure.
Yeah, I think it's great to focus on staff when we get great emails. This was dated today at noon from Linda St. Aubin, and she's saying, on Saturday, my grinder pump alarm went off. I called Marquette Township and Rick answered. He said that they would be here in a few minutes. He and Dave arrived in a short time. I was, of course, imagining the worst scenarios of bulldozers in my yard with large holes and on, but Rick immediately put my mind at ease and said they would be all done in a short time. They returned with a new pump and all was working in no time. They were so nice and reassuring and explained what they were doing and why. I have never had an issue with the guys from the township. They are all very friendly and patiently answered my many questions. Dave has offered suggestions on how to manage issues, and often when they are doing the missed dig measurements, they will go above and beyond to show me where things are located, and being the anxious person I am, it has been so helpful. You have a great staff there in the water guys, I call them. Winter or summer, they are always upbeat and pleasant. I very much appreciate the work they do. Please pass on this message. Blessed Christmas to all. So thank you. That was an event on Saturday, which she was referring to. So thanks to our staff.
We have a great DPW staff here. We're blessed.
Yeah, we are. Okay, any comments on that?
I just have to concur that I've had them over my house twice for my grinder pump. They're very professional and got the job done in short order.
Good deal. Okay. So let me explain public hearings just for the public in case somebody's listening and they don't understand how this works. We usually give the public a chance in a public hearing to speak before the action is taken.
Recording in progress.
Discusses the item. So in this case, we will have a public hearing on truth and taxation for the tax levy, and then we'll have a second one for the budget and the fee schedule. So I will open the public hearing. If anybody wishes to speak, they can do it then. We will close the public hearing. I'll open the second public hearing. They can speak, and then we will close that public hearing. And then those items will be addressed farther on in the agenda later. It will be an actual action item. So, with no other questions, I can open the public hearing for fiscal year 2026, truth and taxation hearing on the tax levy. We will open it at 5:36. So if anybody would like to address the board about the tax levy, we will give 3 opportunities. If anybody would like to address the board, second time. And if anybody would like to address the board for the 3rd time. And we can close the public hearing at 6:37.
5:37.
5:37. Thank you. Second one is fiscal year 2026 township budget and fee schedule. And I will open the public hearing at 5:37 p.m. Anybody wish to discuss the budget and fee schedule.
Supervisor Durant,
Sir.
if I may, real quick, we added that new line to the fee schedule for the second 4-hour increment of rental of the community room, costing the same as the first 4-hour increment. So if you rent it for 4 hours now, it'll be $200. Previously, it would have been $100 for the first hour and then $35 per hour after that. Now we're allowing up to 2 4-hour blocks before that $35 an hour increment kicks in.
Okay.
And the purpose for that is once you get beyond 8 hours, now you're getting into overtime again. So just try to control that a little bit from a cost perspective.
Helps people schedule their event too.
Yep. And we did talk about that at the last meeting, but it had not been in the prior version of the fee schedule that you had seen. So I wanted to make sure everyone was aware that it is in there.
Yes, it's right in there. Okay, anybody wish to discuss again the budget and fee schedule for 2026? Okay, hearing none, we'll close at 5:38 p.m. Dan commented. Okay. Then we need approval of consent agenda, which tonight consists of approval of work session meeting minutes of November 18th, 2025, and regular meeting minutes of November 19th, 2025. We have bills payable in the amount of $287,309.06. And I did put a printout in there of committee open seats we can talk about in a minute. And I also added the U of M close-up reports for 2 months, because they came in about the same time.
I'll move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Just need approval of the remainder of the agenda unless there are any changes.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, let's start with fun stuff. Christopher Germain, CEO, Director, Big Shot, to the CLSCP.
officially,
CEO?
yeah,
Okay,
so-
sorry, I didn't know
You're
your
okay.
title.
Hey guys, it's good to see you all again. Thanks for your kind of flexibility with me. I was hoping to be here a few weeks ago. I got pulled out to the West Coast unexpectedly for some personal business, unfortunately, and I know you're doing the budget tonight, so I appreciate you making some time for me. You guys are really familiar with the LCB at this stage. I won't give you that whole spiel. Hopefully you guys, local economic development organization covering all of Marquette County. We're also a membership-based organization. The township is one of our nearly 400 members. We've been sitting like just too shy of crossing that 400 member mark for about 3 months now. We're gonna get across it yet this year. But you joined in 2022, so you're one of our newer local government partners as well. And typically what happens with our local government partners is that they enter the LSCP at that initial investment level, which is what we call a partner level. It's $360 a year. It helps support all of our economic development work, all of our advocacy work, and really all of those services that I talked about last time I did a presentation in February. But usually after a couple of years, as we start to build those relationships with our local government partners, we tend to figure out a way to hopefully strengthen that partnership and make sure that we're providing enough value to our local government partners that they might feel willing to up their investment in our work to make sure our team remains stable and that we can continue to further build that relationship even further for you. So I'll cover it to the chase, which is at this point, the township has that $360 level. We're asking you to consider what we absolutely call our investor level, which is just $1,500 for the entire year. So it's about $1,000 more than you typically do right now. But since I do know anything that you purchase on behalf of the township does have to have specific benefits, we do build those into our core as well. So right now, those benefits really include tickets to events, special updates from the LSCP, the ability to be listed as a member. You get access also to one wage study, so you can kind of compare your employee wages against the market. But if you move up to that investor level, you get unlimited number of those reports. You get event support, so if the township wanted to do, say, a state of the township or an educational lunch or opportunity, maybe about the budget or an issue that you're facing, our team can actually help handle that. We can handle registration, or we can help market all of that. You can add 2 folks to the list, so if you wanted to add the DDA as a secondary member under your partnership, you actually could do that at this level. And then you also get e-blasts, a free e-blast, again, if you wanted to spread the word about the township. But I think the biggest reason that I would encourage you to consider this level is because last year when we overhauled our entire structure, one of the things that we created was what we call the Economic Alliance. Historically, it's been a group of the biggest private sector investors, but we opened it up to our public sector investors the other year, and the results of that have actually been really incredible. So that Alliance Investors Group meets 4 times a year. They talk about our biggest issues. They tell us what they're hearing on the ground, what their challenges are. But most importantly, we've seen relationships form out of that partnership and that group of folks. We've seen new programs come about. We've seen people who are new to the area get to know their local officials, and local officials get to know their biggest employers, and all those types of things. So this level is kind of the entry point into that. Ultimately, to kind of just give you some concept of what it looks like, at $1,500 a year, it's about $4.10 a day to have basically a dedicated local economic development team for the entire county. If you split it down by your residents, because I really like math, it's 36 cents a resident, or it's 0.00098 per day per resident. So it's, I think, a pretty darn good deal overall in terms of getting an entire economic development team for that price. So we're, just like everybody else, we're facing increasing costs, so we're coming to partners of all sizes and all backgrounds and asking for their faith in us, and they consider increasing that investment. And ultimately what that does, purchases again, helps us provide our core services, but also the work that we've been doing together, such as the Housing Now initiative, that's fully supported out of our general operating budget right now at the LSCP. So we're eating the cost of all the labor and all the work behind that. The LSCP powers the air service work, we power the child care work, we power business retention and expansion work, including projects right here in Marquette Township, including manufacturing, right in that expansion project, connecting folks to state incentives, federal incentives. I'm down in Lansing all the time. We've actually, as I think I talked about last time, we're the only economic development organization / chamber in the state that actually testified in favor of eliminating the dark store loophole at the tax tribunal. And so nobody else was really willing to go on record saying that, but we dragged Northern Michigan Chamber Alliance with us as a favor for them. So we really feel like we go to bat for our local governments. You're not the only ones we're making this ask of, but we do want to come and make the ask in person. That we're asking you to consider from that partner level, which is $360, up to that investor level, which is $1,500. There are other levels in between there, in full disclosure, but honestly, I think those ones don't have the same level of jump up in terms of benefits for a local government as going from that level 1 to that level 4 really does. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I didn't want to bore you with a big fancy presentation. Hopefully we all know each other well enough at this stage. You can just ask whatever questions you might have.
So do you see the biggest advantage to that as the connection between us and the Economic Alliance? Is that what you called it?
Yeah, so I think that's the biggest tangible piece of it, right? And so the city of Marquette's on there, Chocolate Township's on there, Ishmael, Nagani, but then the hospital, Northern, manufacturers, banks, all of these other folks who also power the economy get together once a quarter and we talk about kind of everything under the sun, whatever's on people's minds. And it's definitely resulted in some new programming that we've created. And so that's really, it's the seat at the table, right? That more exclusive seat at the table.
We've got 2 cities and a township so far.
Yep. And then others hopefully are on the way, so.
Okay, well, when we get down to the budget, we can see what the board thinks about that, see where money comes from, and
Yeah, absolutely.
consider it.
I appreciate you guys even considering it, let me come and make the ask, so.
Do you want to talk just a second about, we have a very full agenda, I don't want to hear either. I guess these are, one's the membership, that's what you're talking about. Investor commitment form that.
Oh, for the housing now.
Remember I had asked you if we could earmark the funds for
Oh, for the housing
Antonio's?
specials? Mhm.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about that a little bit too, not being a good idea to use funds for something like that from our end. But I don't know that's, if we'd have more of an impact then from the membership side versus even worrying about that.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It really depends where your priorities lie. So I think at this stage, like I said, we're empowering Housing Now using general operating dollars at this stage. So if there is some kind of concern about where specifically that goes, the membership route is probably the easiest, cleanest way to do that at this stage. We're certainly going to be in 2026 really pushing for more investment into Housing Now specifically. Antonia's position is a really key part of that work. But Antonio's position is only effective because of all the other work being done under housing now. The policy, the advocacy, the education, the network building, that's what really makes the housing specialist powerful. So we've committed, that 90% towards that, towards his position, only 10% towards all of that other work. But in the meantime, as we kind of work through what that looks like, membership dollars absolutely end up in housing now, indirectly, and all of our other stuff.
Okay.
Sweet.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you coming.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay, community linkage, quickly here. Materials management Zoom was last week or a couple weeks ago now, and we were talking about citing regulations, so we're still doing Zoom work sessions, which is beneficial. I don't have to drive to Escanaba. Our next one will be also on Zoom next week, I think. So we're still working through all that. These are requirements of the state to address how a new landfill or transfer station would be regulated. So we have to cover everything from A to Z. It's not just what happens with recycling in Marquette County. So anyway, we're still working on that. As far as the LSCP goes, we have a breakfast every 2 or 3 months, and that's extremely valuable because there's a lot of networking that goes on there. There's a presentation of some sort this week, or last week actually, we had Archidalgia RISA, which is the Regional Education Service Agency, and I kind of learned more about what they did. They're more of like an independent school district type umbrella. The speakers were excellent. And Nice Community Schools, we had a representative from them. And then we had the UP Construction Council representative, talked about apprenticeships and the school system and how the college works with the high school and honors courses. And it was just, it's amazing to know, and that's kind of what I was thinking when Krista was talking about, is hanging around with these other people that might impact us, because we're not involved very much with the education system, other than when the superintendent comes and speaks to us, that kind of gives us an inkling of what's going on. But that was just one more thing that the partnership offers, is that breakfast. Tomorrow is our assessor forum, so both assessors come in and we talk with some of the bankers, the realtors, and what do you call them? Title agencies. And that's by invitation. Last year we had about 45. I think of that, 13 of them were online. So Randy set up a Zoom for me tomorrow, and we'll bring them in, and Dulcie will educate him on what's going on in the last year and what they have to look forward for next year. One of the biggest things that keeps coming up every year is to stress to the realtors that they need to explain to new home buyers that the taxes on the property that they might be purchasing are going to go up. And that's sometimes a surprise for new home buyers. They don't realize that, especially if they're buying an older home, and it's been kind of, the taxes have been, I could almost say suppressed, because the person had lived there so long. So that'll be a conversation tomorrow. I also have, the last speaker we had last meeting was Tim Scholander, and I've got the upset report from 24. I also have it online, so if anybody wants it, I sent it yesterday to one of the supervisors in Western Township. So it's available. I can copy this or give you an online version. Just let me know. Happy to share that with you. And that's all that I know for now. Anything you're hearing from the public? Randy?
They said since it's cold and it doesn't look like it's going to get any warmer, they wondered when the ice rink is going to try to get going.
They've started working on it. I can't say that ice is ready yet. I know they had it cleaned off, and I think now's the time to remind everybody we no longer have a Zamboni. So we are going to be in an adaptation mode this year. We're learning how to resurface without a resurfacing machine. So I think we can still get good ice, but it's going to be done a different way. So anyone that's doing the flooding is going to have to learn a few new tricks. We know how to flood, but without a resurfacing machine, you can't fix your mistakes as easily. So I guess we'll see how it goes. We know that there were some complaints that came through the rec committee that maybe we don't do such a good job of maintaining it. It all comes down to the heaviest uses when we don't have anyone staffing it.
And the weather.
So, well, yeah, if it snows, we're not there to clean it for them after 4:30, basically, so I guess we'll see. And we don't have a roof over it yet, so come February, we probably won't have ice again. That's just the way it's been.
Okay. Anything else? Dan?
I've seen some ingenious things on Facebook and stuff where they pull a bucket of water with a big towel, behind and helps level it all off. And we've got a good expert on our board that could be asked a few questions. too.
We have a fire hose, something that a lot of those people don't have, which helps, and we can actually run warm or hot water through it that way, which will clean up some of the bumpy stuff. That being said, I have a feeling we will be looking at the experimental resurfacing, human-powered or tractor attachment type things without going crazy. Obviously, we can't just spend whatever unlimited amount of funds on R&D of new resurfacing methods.
Well, it sounds like you might have to talk to John and he can give you some pointers. Is that what you're
Well,
saying? Or do you know?
he's giving me the eyeball. I
making
have no
faces,
doubt we'll be
so-
talking tomorrow.
Apparently he's got something.
You're talking very nicely, we'll see how it goes.
I wouldn't mind a visit very soon, though.
I didn't mention any names.
The Cheshire grin over here was a giveaway. Okay, good. Anything else? Alrighty. Let's get into why we're here. Policy discussion. So the tax levies is the first issue on our agenda. We've got 2 sheets for that. We've already looked at this a couple times because we had some rounding issues that came up. And the change was to the library. The millage is .888, and with rounding it had to be changed to 8817. So we need approval on that. And then the second, 4029 is for the DDA millage for 2 mills for 2 years.
I'll move to it.
It's 1 mil per year for 2 years.
Okay.
I'll move to accept the 2025 tax levies, and we've essentially approved them in September. This is just, we have to do it again, but we've approved these in September because they had to be approved to be on your December 1 tax bill, so.
Okay, any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That's one down. Next up is the CIP. So you have that in your packet. Any questions, issues?
I'll approve make a motion to adopt the 2026 CIP, and we've talked about this throughout the year, so they all looked pretty good to me.
I support that.
And just a comment, did the planning commission have any comments, Linda, on that, or?
They did not.
Okay.
What you have before you is what went through the planning commission.
And this, like most of our budget type documents, is fluid. It can change depending on the weather. That's flip it.
Or if we
but-
find the right vehicle or piece of equipment at the right time locally, something breaks down and we have to replace it prematurely. It's life, right? We adapt.
Yeah, but an allocation spreadsheet, so change. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, the fee schedule is what John was talking about a minute ago. Got that updated, we had some red recommendations. Got a water volume increase from 912 per 1,000 gallons to 921, so 9 cents per 1,000 gallons. That's not too overwhelming. Wastewater's going from 1248 to 1273. And it just goes to show that the department and staff are really taking care of the money that we're watching, you know? That's a big part of our job. That's why they call us trustees. And then he mentioned the community room. We've got Lions Field Pavilion rental on here. 2-hour rental, $15 an hour. Public fire protection is waived. We talked about that. Garbage collection. How many times have we talked about trash this year? Ad nauseam. This is almost a pass-through. It's what we are being charged, so this is what we charge. There's no profit in this for us, it's just what it's costing us. The landfill and our hauling.
So if the residents have a problem with the garbage fee, you should talk to the Solid Waste Authority, attend their meetings and question their budget, because that's where our fees are derived from, is their budget. Tipping fees, yep, so,
And they meet at 4 o'clock before our second meeting, so that's the third Wednesday of the month at the landfill.
I move that we adopt the 26 fee schedule as presented.
Support.
Okay, any questions, clarification from the manager or anything? All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, we needed the discussion then. We've got the budget itself, which I thought, John, I really appreciated, it was very well done. Staff did an excellent job with their presentations. It was short and sweet. I mean, based on years past, and we've said this 100 times, this was a cakewalk compared to 15 or 16 hours we've spent previously over the years. So, thank you.
Keep in mind, the people that put these together and present them to you are interchangeable parts too, so it won't be that way forever. We just hope that the process becomes a well-oiled machine so that it really isn't that much of a challenge to present to you what you need, to feel confident that we're not doing something we shouldn't be.
That's the biggest part of it too, is the process.
But Dan and Lenny, obviously, they have the biggest budgets from a department head perspective. That's why they come and present their budgets to you. They know what you expect. And it's good stewardship of the taxpayer and the ratepayer's money. And balanced budgets every year. We don't have a choice.
Well, and it's challenging because we aren't getting more money necessarily, you know, the government is, a higher government than we are, is curtailing stuff, so we do with what we have.
Adapt.
Yeah, I think we're doing a good job.
That's my word of the night.
I like the, thanks to our financial director, that we've got a lot of good backup information in here. Restricted and unrestricted funds and the utilities.
Before I forget, should we mention how much effort Kim has to put in to make this budget look the way you want to see it.
Yeah.
What we print out from the software requires a whole bunch of, I'm not going to say manipulation, it's just spreadsheet work. The software doesn't let you print it out by cost center with cost center totals, that kind of thing. She has to do that all after we get it into the system, so it's a lot of work on her part.
And make it balance. All the subtotals have to be right.
The good news is we don't do the entire budget process through a spreadsheet anymore, so we don't have to worry about bad formulas, which have happened. And it's not unique to here. Anywhere you do a budget in a spreadsheet, you can have formulas go bad.
I'll make a motion, we approve the fiscal 2026 budget.
Support.
Okay.
That will be a roll call vote. So clerk retires, yes. Trustee Winslow.
Yes.
Trustee Leighton.
Yes.
Trustee Everson.
Yes.
Treasurer Rick Hour.
Yes.
Supervisor Durant.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0 and 1 absent.
Okay, so we didn't get a chance to really talk to Christopher's request before approving that. Before we even asked John if we have the money, is this something we want to consider, or do we want to stay where we are with the membership? So we at least have the money.
It's not a significant percentage of the general fund. I would say if it's something you want to do, the money will be there. Just the way we budget. I can tell you right off the bat, we have a line item in the CIP for next year for the purchase of something that we made this year. We found a vehicle locally and got it while it was available, so that's a lot more than $1,500. Multiply it by 5 or 6,
Well, I'm thinking we have,
and a zero.
so we have budgeted education. And I see this, the Lake Superior Community Partnership, being an avenue for education. And I'm assuming, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but anyone from this board can attend the events, the breakfast events or whatever. So I think this is an education opportunity for all of us to participate in that. And that may be a selling point for other people.
That's good. Excellent.
Yeah.
John, go ahead first.
Real quick, some of this does come at a cost because they don't just give breakfast for free based on membership, but be aware of that.
There are many free things so that you can attend that provide wonderful opportunities. So I would encourage that.
So I think way we could handle this is we could poll the board by consensus tonight if they want to move up to the membership level that Christopher suggested. If the board is okay in the consensus, we'll put it on the agenda for next meeting, because we ought to do that anyway for the approval of next year. So how about that? Does that sound a way of doing it?
Sounds good to me.
Maybe if the consensus is to go to the next level, we could have an invoice
Yeah,
for the next,
yeah, just deal
maybe
if,
for 26 anyway, right?
yeah.
Yeah, you don't renew, I think, till February, actually, so.
Okay.
January, February.
It's not on the calendar yet,
I guess do the poll.
Yes.
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we'll put it on the next agenda there, and if you want to get us an invoice to the supervisor, Chris, we'll
I can
put it on that next agenda then.
We actually have a form where we can select that membership level, right?
You do, but since you're in our system, it'll automatically generate something, so we'll just change it internally.
Okay,
and Send it for you.
even better, thank you.
Absolutely.
It's worth the investment
Thanks, guys.
if you do the paperwork for us.
Well, it's just having that office to call once in a while, I mean, like Christopher said, going down to Lansing talking about the dark store issue. They not only talked, but they typed up a letter too, and it was very well done and ironic. heard his speech, it was great. He did, you know, so they're advocates, that helps. Our own pack. Yeah,
Not to mention, where is the majority of the business growth in the county?
yeah. Right here. Okay, so we'll put that on the next agenda. Okay, thank you. Anything else with the budget we need to think about? I mean, I know it's approved, but anybody had any questions or? We pretty much
It is a
covered
living
everything.
document.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, then we've got a budget resolution and the Township General Appropriations Act. Down to that, unless you want to start talking, Randy.
And the only thing to change on that is, and I talked to the manager before, on the last page of the appropriations, 122 of the packet, in the bottom, it just, she should say, instead of the 4th day of December 2024, it should say the 3rd day of September 2025. So I told John sometimes cut and paste, you know, kind of gets to you, but. And
My
I've,
apologies, I definitely missed that one.
that's fine, that's fine. I do it a lot, so you save me sometimes, so. I'll make a I'll make a motion, we approve the fiscal year 2026 budget resolution and township general appropriations. And I'm not gonna read it because it's a long document, but it will be in the minutes as always, so it'll be in the minutes, so it'll be referenced there.
And it's also in the board packet, so if you want to read it before the minutes are out, it's available today on the website.
Yeah.
I'll support that.
Okay. That's a roll call too, right?
It is. So Clerk Rattari is yes. Trustee Everson.
Yes.
Trustee Winslow.
Yes.
Trustee Leitonen.
Yes.
Treasurer Rickower.
Yes.
And Supervisor Durant.
Yes.
Motion carries 6 yes, no nays, and 1 absent.
Okay. Next up is committee wage increases for next year, falling in line with the 2.5% wage increases across the board with the rest of the staff. So I just need approval of that.
So moved.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Resolution for officer salaries. Take the last 5.
Yeah, well, the reason, explaining to the public we have to do this every year is because if you increase your salary, you have to do it by resolution every year. So that's what the township board has agreed that each position would take a 2.5% increase every year moving forward. So these are the resolutions that are generated from that. So if you don't do a wage increase, then you wouldn't need this at all. But we do that, so that's why we have to do this every year.
And this started when there was a period of 9 years that we did not get an increase. And we felt that in order to get volunteers, that it might be a good idea to have a good basis salary.
Well, and we figured it was better to do it in this method than do a big jump every couple years. So it's, 2.5% is kind of a modest increase, so, in today's world, so.
And it's in line with all of the other wage increases across the board at the township, whether you're part-time or full-time.
And same thing as the committees that we just did.
So I'll make a motion to approve the supervisor salary for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $16,480.08.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
This is roll call, though.
Yeah.
So Clerk Rattari is yes. Trustee Everson.
Yes.
Trustee Winslow.
Yes.
Trustee Leitonen.
Yes.
Treasurer Rickower.
Yes.
And Clerk Rattari is yes. And Supervisor Durant.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0 and 1 absent.
Thank you for that. Next up is the clerks.
Also,
Okay. And this will be for 3,735.
Yeah, and I'll just make a comment. Usually the supervisors and the clerk salary were the same, but with the additional duties of the clerk, starting last year, with the early voting, that put the clerk in 27 days of extra work that they didn't get compensated for, so I had to be here for 27 days for 9 hours. So what I did is I took all those hours up and figured what they would be, and I took like the top wage for the election inspector, got that, and then I split them in half because you don't do this every year. So in the off year, I have really nothing to do, so that's why I split it, so.
You can't say you have nothing to do.
Well, I'm not here 27 extra days, so that's why that salary's a little bit higher than the supervisor, so, just so that public knows.
And these are position wages.
Yeah, position.
Not us. It's not like we have any kind of statutes.
Whoever's in that position.
Right, right. Okay, we've got a motion and second.
Okay, so trustee, or treasurer Rickover,
Yes.
trustee Everson,
Yes.
trustee Winslow.
yes.
Trustee Leighton,
Yes.
clerk Rattari is yes, and supervisor Durant.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0 and 1 absent.
Okay, we can skip the treasurer.
Well, I'll move to accept the treasurer's salary for
Split that one.
the amount of $11,189.04.
Sorry, I gotta I always gave her a hard time, so you're sitting in the chair.
Clerk Rattari is yes. Trustee Everson. Trustee Winslow.
Yes.
Trustee Leighton.
Yes.
Treasurer Rickover.
Yes.
And Supervisor Durant.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0 and 1 absent.
Okay. We've got the trustees, $4,474.15.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Clerk Rattari is yes. Treasurer Rickover.
Yes.
Trustee Winslow.
Yes.
Trustee Everson.
Yes.
Trustee Leighton.
Yes.
And Supervisor let's see. Supervisor Durant.
Yeah.
Motion carries 6-0 and 1 absent.
Okay. We've got the treasurer and deputy clerk. That's just,
Yeah. So I'll make a motion that we approve the salaries for the deputy treasurer and the deputy clerk for the amount of $554.61 for fiscal year 2026.
Support.
Comments or questions? Okay, go ahead.
Clerk Rattari is yes. Trustee Everson.
Yes.
Trustee Winslow.
Yes.
Trustee Leighton.
Yes.
Treasurer Rickover.
Yes.
Supervisor Durant.
Yeah.
Motion carries 6-0 and 1 absent.
If I might add,
Sure.
that cost of 2 deputies, just over $1,000 a year, to have 2 people on call for the whole year, basically, that's a pretty good deal. You hope you never need them, but when you do need them and they're available, it's a big deal.
You're telling me
Clerk and treasurer.
when I was deputy clerk, the salary's $50 for the whole year.
Yeah, right. I remember those days.
$50 for the whole year to be
And we
on
were
call.
still on call. Yeah, wow, okay.
All right. QPAD invoices next.
Just a comment, Lynn, I'll make a motion to support this. I did talk to Jason and staff, and he was very supportive of the QPAD, and they're a resource we can use for planning if so desired, so.
And they are a regional planning agency for the central UP.
They're valuable for those people who don't have planners access.
Well, just if we need extra resources too, they can help, so, you know, I think it's well worth the money. And that cost for the year is $879.
I would support that.
Okay. Any other questions? They are facilitating the materials management committee too. They get paid from the state for that, but they're very versatile. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Employment agreement renewal for the township manager. Okay, do you want to take that? It's your own?
I think this might be one where I should not lead the conversation.
Okay.
But there was a committee of 3 of you that might be interested.
Yep, the officers did meet with the manager and the HR assistant administrator, exactly. her title.
Executive assistant, yeah.
To negotiate, if you want to call it negotiation, I don't know, I thought it was a pretty nice conversation. We have 2 versions that the board got. We have a red line version that was culminated by the attorney. And then the black line, of course, is the document itself that it was changed to, so you could see the final document. And we did that so that you could see what was changed, what was suggested. It is a suggestion, if there's something in there you don't agree with, or you like to have a question on, Roger's happy to explain why he did what he did. Or, you know, it's your pleasure. Questions how it went together, or?
I'll move to accept the manager's contract. It'll be a 5-year contract to December 31st of 2030.
Support.
31,
I feel good that we can get a 5-year contract. I appreciate the work.
You and
he
me
does.
both, sir. Thank you.
I appreciate the work that he's done and will continue to do.
30. Good review. It's been a busy year, got a lot going on, still some things that are not finished. Like Renovari was what I was thinking of.
Job security.
Yeah. Linda?
And just so the public knows, the 5-year contract is a great idea because this board is in place for 4 years. And so there's some continuity of what goes on in case people choose to not be board members in the future, that we have a resource. And I can tell you from where I worked, it's always good to have someone who has what I call institutional knowledge. And so that's what that person has.
Well, and unlike other levels of government, township government, all 7 of us are up at the same time. So, in essence, you know, if none of us decided to run in 28, you could have 7 new people here and wouldn't know anything. It's taken us long enough
God help us.
to know what we know, right? And we still don't know it all. So that is kind of scary, and having that security in the office is paramount, really. Especially since we work with that policy governance mantra, I'll say, because it isn't exactly policy governance. We'll talk about that in January. The manager is the one who does all of what we tell him to do. So he's the one it falls to. And if that security isn't there, or, you know, it'd be hard on the township. We'd get by, but why, you know, if you don't have to. So we're up in 28, and then he's through 30. So he'll have a couple years with the new board, whoever that is. It might be just 1 person less, might be 5, might be 7.
It's not to say that this contract does not protect the township if the new board wants to go a different route. There are out clauses in there, so
On
I
both
think,
sides, yeah.
for both sides, correct.
Yeah.
I will say, though, this contract is probably the most productive or protective of the township of any manager contract we've probably ever had. It went from a 4-page document to an 11-page document. And a lot of that is the protective clauses to make sure that I can't do anything stupid, mostly. But it also keeps all of you honest too,
Yeah.
so it's fair.
So keep it
My-
by your nightstand and read it every night before you go to bed, so, it'll help. You'll have it right there. Roger, did you want to add anything, since you helped with this?
Not unless you have specific questions. The revisions that I made were in red, and I understand the township's printer printed them in blue instead, but they're still contrasting colors in terms of what I revised, and I sent a letter along that explained the rationale behind each relatively minor revision, so I have nothing to add unless somebody has specific questions.
So along with that motion, it'll allow me and you to sign that contract if it's approved.
So we have a motion and a
We do,
second?
we do.
So we should have the vote, right?
Ready?
Okay, Clerk Ratar is yes, Trustee Leighton,
Yes.
Trustee Winslow,
Yes.
Trustee Everson,
Yes.
Treasurer Rickower,
Yes.
and Supervisor Durant.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0 and 1 absent, and we'll sign that contract tomorrow.
And just for clarification, the motion should be authorizing both the supervisor and the clerk to sign
And
it.
I will add that into the motion, yes.
That's how the contract is set up, and that would be standard with protocol.
Correct. Congratulations, Mr. Manager.
Thank you all for the support. I will do my best to not let you down anymore.
All right. Do we have any committee updates? We don't, right? I
We
just,
don't, right? Answer the own question.
yeah, well, because we get staff reports next week or next meeting anyway, so rec committee is the only one I was thinking
They didn't meet.
of. No.
I do believe they will start meeting more regularly now that we've had our conversation about, if you do want to fund something, we need to know what it is before we can start planning a budget around it. And that was just a communication issue, right? Hopefully that will improve.
Because remember that planning commission is underneath us, and then the rec and, well, that's really all we have left is rec committee underneath planning. So if we have something we want them to work on, we would give it to planning, and if it's something they can figure out, fine. If not, they send it down to rec and say, okay, figure it out. The same thing we did with the roads committee a few years ago, when we got the millage out of it. They do the legwork.
But they have to meet.
Yeah, but they didn't have anything. It was like John said, it was kind of a misunderstanding. I think they were waiting for us to say something. We had a good meeting with Jason and Eric, the four of us, the other day,
Good.
and
And we,
explained it a little bit.
and we just don't want to have meetings for.
have meetings.
Just to have meetings and for having, basically the committee to try to go off on a tangent to do something. We usually task them with something.
And they're volunteers too, and they don't get paid at that level, so you don't want to beat up on volunteers too much.
But it is the responsibility of one person to make sure that the meetings take place.
Yeah, yeah, it can be multiple people, but I understand what you're saying.
Well, and I'll just add, in order to hold a meeting, you need a quorum. And so we all know that sometimes people are unable to attend. So it could be a quorum issue sometimes
I
too.
think it was at least twice that I
Oh,
heard.
well, who knows?
this year.
We'll be better at it. I want a roof over the ice arena. We'll be better at it.
All right, any public comment? Anybody wish to throw anything at us? Not literally. Any announcements? Oh. Roger's gonna get out on time. Manager's report, unless John gets wordy.
I only have one thing, and this could get wordy, but I'm hoping it's not because of me, and because of hearty discussion. For those of you that have seen your November utility bill, you will have noticed there was a credit this month. And you can thank a couple of people at this end of the room for having a heated conversation after your last meeting, and one of them coming to his senses the next day. Basically, we had the debt service component of the water bill still on the October utility bill. That debt was paid off in October. So this month, we credited that debt service payment back to each customer. Next month, or your next utility bill, which will be the November bill coming out, you'll get it in early December, will have a debt service component of 0. The question is, do you want your utility bill to show that, or should we just take it off? And we don't have a good consensus as staff, so I'm offering to you the chance to direct us on this one. Two schools of thought. One, we know that debt service component will be coming back again very soon. We had hoped to have it continuous, right? By having this water treatment plant partial purchase occur in October. As the old debt expired, the new debt took its place. Well, our agreements are taking longer than we had hoped for. So it'll probably be first quarter of 2026, meaning there's going to be a few months where we're not collecting a debt payment from our customers. So it will go back on at some point. The chances of it being exactly the same number are slim to none, right? So it will be a different number. Do you want us to keep the language on there showing a 0 number for a few months, or just take the line off and then do our best to inform the public when it's time to put it back on, this is why? We can go either way. I'll tell you, the person that does the bills would rather just take it off because that's the least amount of effort for a change that will happen 3 times in a relatively short time period.
Because remember, there are multiple businesses and different levels of debt payment amounts. So while changing the residential side is easy enough, going through each individual, I think she said 4 pages of names that have to be individually corrected or changed or zeroed out or whatever.
So,
I was gonna say, I think whatever works easiest for staff is what we should recommend to do.
And I think that is just removing it. Just click the button, remove it until it needs to go back on.
and I think, if I understand correctly, debt service is probably not the term that we're going to use. So I too agree, just get rid of it if that's what works for staff.
We're being advised to not use debt service moving forward. That doesn't mean we don't continue to use it. It's just, you'll have a chance to decide what it says before we put it back on, and we'll get a chance to speak to the cameras and the YouTube recording for anyone that wants to pay attention. Put it on the back of the calendar, whatever we have to do, e-blast, Facebook, website. But until we know what that debt service component is going to be for everybody, it's easiest just to take it off the bill completely.
Are you looking for a motion or?
I don't think we
consensus?
just consensus.
As
we
long
don't-
as everyone agrees that that's what we are doing, and we're making the conscious decision to do it, being transparent about it, and knowing whatever we do, somebody will object. We can't be perfect on this decision, so nobody's going to hurt my feelings on it, even if you decide to go the route that I don't think is best. I've been back and forth on it a few times now.
My consensus is just to remove it.
I support that.
Me too.
E3.
Okay.
Okay, so for the public's sake, the debt service portion of the water bill will go away for a few months. It's going to disappear from the utility bill, but it will come back at some point in the future when we sell the bonds for the new debt. And that's to buy water security for the township's future.
That's huge. That's something that this township has wanted for
Since I've been
ever.
Yeah.
25 years, 30 years.
Yeah.
We talked about that,
Well,
had problems
It
with
was an
that.
issue back in 2004.
This is,
Well,
very happy to see this happening.
I've been on this board for 20 years, and we've never had this opportunity to work with the city of Marquette in this way, so their board was not, well, we both are willing right now, and in the past, we were like this. Now we can join with them, and it works for both parties, because we'll own a portion of the plant, and we can help them upgrade it in the future too, so, and it gives us, we were gonna have to spend millions of dollars anyway if we went another direction, so we might as well just have what we have now and go move forward for both parties. It's gonna be good,
And it's more secure.
more secure. Unless Lake Superior dries up, which I don't think is gonna happen.
I was just gonna say, do you know of a larger freshwater source than Lake Superior?
It's the largest of the large. Okay, you have
I got
consensus?
one question. Does anybody know how many gallons of water on average are in Lake Superior?
It's funny you mentioned that, because Lenny calculated it yesterday after Lenny, Clerk Bertari, and I were at a Water Environment Association workshop, and they were talking about PFAS limits. And he figured out, he didn't tell me how many gallons were in the lake, but he figured out the limit the EPA wants to set amounts to 7 gallons of PFAS in Lake Superior.
In the whole lake, in the
In
whole
entire
lake.
Just
For every state and country?
No, in the lake.
just
It's
for
just
us.
the concentration of PFAS, which is a forever chemical.
Yeah.
If it was in Lake Superior, which it is, the limit the EPA would set on it would be, you concentrate all of that into 7 gallons from the entire lake. It can't exceed that. That's a great idea. Probably not realistic if you think about that in common sense terms.
Well, I'm used to terms in parts per million. This is like parts per quadrillion. So it goes way beyond where we're at now.
I would still like to know how many gallons are in that lake.
You
You
probably,
can
you can
Google it
probably
pretty
Google
quick.
it. AI will tell you.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all I had for my report
Any
tonight.
questions for the manager? It's 3 quadrillion gallons, Dan. 3 quadrillion gallons.
Thank you. Thank you.
10% of the world's fresh water, fresh surface water, 2,900 cubic miles.
And it's cold.
It's cold, yeah.
Okay.
Are we getting closer with Renovari?
Yes.
That's a question I would still like to ask you.
Yeah, the most recent update I have, he changed banks for his construction loan refinancing on his other project that he's using to cash flow the land purchase. And he said he's in the home stretch. So I would say,
Yet this year?
let's get it done this year, which I've told him on multiple occasions, and he said that was his goal too.
If he's listening, this year,
2025
yes,
calendar year. I think that's specific enough.
thank you.
Well, you could email him tomorrow and just tell him at the board meeting tonight, the consensus was get her done.
I think
Years,
he's clear on that, but I can reiterate it.
Right?
Yep.
Since he brought it up. Any other questions for John? Okay, would you review our motions, Mr. Clerk, please?
Well, we gotta take a lunch for this one.
Try to do it as fast as possible. So, first motion was consent agenda as presented, was approved. Second motion was the approval of the regular agenda, and that was as presented, and that was approved. Third motion was the approval of the 2025 tax levies, that was approved. The fourth motion was the adoption of the fiscal year 2026 CIPs, that was approved. Fifth motion was the adoption of the fiscal year 2026 fee schedule, that was approved. Sixth motion was to approve the fiscal year 2026 budget, that was approved, roll call vote. Seventh motion was to approve the fiscal year 2026 budget resolution Township General Appropriations Act. That was approved as presented and roll called vote. Eighth motion was the committee wage increases for 2026. That was approved. The ninth motion was to approve the salary of the township supervisor. Excuse me. That was approved. The 10th motion was to approve the salary of the township clerk. That was approved. The 11th motion was to approve the salary of the township treasurer. That was approved. The 12th motion was to approve the salary of the township trustees. That was approved, and this is for all 2026. And the 13th motion was to approve the salary for the deputy treasurer and clerk. That was approved. 14th motion was to approve the QPAD invoice for 2026, and that was approved. And the 15th motion was to approve the employment agreement for the township manager through 12/31 of 2030, and that was approved. Roll call vote.
Can I add one thing real quick that I failed to mention, but I think should be my obligation every year when we talk about the tax levies, and that is, if anyone was paying attention, the clerk said 2025 tax levies, but we're talking about the 2026 budget. We collect our tax revenue for the year that's almost over at the end of the year. So we're living currently on 2024 tax revenue for the general fund. The only difference is on utility bills. We collect that monthly, so we send out the bill at the end of the month, so the month is already over, and then we collect the money. So in government, you have to be smart with your money because you don't get it until the time is already gone, right? And I think the public should be aware of that. And we know that going forward, but at some point in the past, you had to go a whole year with nothing, right? If theoretically you had to start at some point. So just to put things in perspective, it's not really any different than the way an employee gets paid. You work the time and then you get paid. But with tax revenue, you collected a full at the end of the year that just ended. So next year we spend 2025 money. This year we spend 2024 money. Anyway, just a little nuance with
That's
the
a
budgeting.
good mention. Thankfully, employees don't have to wait a year to get paid.
Let's hope not.
Even if they
Please
have a
no.
5-year contract, right? Okay, so I will give you an updated calendar next meeting of our community members that are gonna come in and speak to us. And then we'll look at the LSCP membership invoice. And that's all I'll have so far.
The only thing I'm going to have is the 2026 meeting schedule, and this will be by consensus, but does anyone on the township board have any problems with our Wednesday at 5:30 meeting? Because this is the time to change it moving forward if you do for next year.
I think it's been a big help to go from Tuesday at 7 to Wednesday at 5:30.
Well, we all get out of here earlier, I know that. Okay, so I'll do that, I'll get that ready for next meeting then.
Kim and I will have a recommendation for you on auditing firm for the next 3 years. Every 3 years we bid that out, and we had 2 proposals. We think we have a recommendation almost ready to go. We're just double checking a couple things. And I say we, Kim's doing it all.
Okay. Any other comments? Anybody? Our next meeting's December 17th.
I do have the 16th and final motion
Okay. You counted them? I didn't
before,
pay attention.
well, not remembering them right now, so,
Okay.
before somebody jumps in my thunder here, we adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 6:41.